going on, guys? Rain Zeus bringing you my Magicka Dragonknight PvP build for the Murkmire patch. And luckily, the Mag DK isn't gonna be a banker this patch. So looking forward to next patch, so that way I can fucking put this thing on the back shelf, you know, whatever. But anyway, back to the actual build. Before we get started on the actual build, I'd actually like to say thank you to everybody. I mean, absolutely everybody. I mean, it's phenomenal. We've gotten almost 200 subs in like a month and a half, and you know, for a game that's really slow like ESO, there's really not that many people that play it, so that's actually pretty crazy. And that just goes to show that was all you guys. And like I said, I appreciate absolutely everybody that has stopped by, had conversations with me in the comment section, sent me messages on PSN. I mean, thank you guys so much for, you know, watching my content and subscribing. So that's just a big shout out to you guys. But let's get on to the actual point of the reason I'm making this video, and that is for the build itself. So we'll just get started on the gear. You can speed it up or slow it down just like last time. Now this patch, I did decide to, I switched to heavy. I'm not running light anymore because, you know, those nerfs to wards or whatever. And overall, I think I like the change. It was definitely a big adjustment period, switching from Sword and Board and Resto to Sword and Board and Destro. Like, it's just a completely different game style. You can use I prefer Tri-Food, just like the other build. I just like the stam pull. Just allows you to block. You get a lot more block mitigation instead of the recovery, because with this build I don't really I don't need the recovery. But if you guys are having issues with the recovery, you can always run this food. I know it's expensive, but if you can't afford this, then you can always go with Witch Mothers. I mean, you can never go wrong. I also use Tripods. And the same as I switched a few traits around this time, because where I'm in heavy, like I said, you do have a lot more block mitigation. So I'm actually running, I think, 4 sturdy on my Sword and Board bar, versus the 3 sturdy of the last one. I'm still running 1 bloodthirsty. Desert Rose it's cheap and it's such a good set. I mean, before I was running Spinners and Sun, and it had a lot of damage, but you were very, very squishy and very, very vulnerable. However, with heavy, not only do you have more sustain, but you have just as much damage. Like, my tooltips are almost exactly the same, and I have so much more sustain, and I'm so much more tanky. Oh wow, I need to go there. Okay, cool. It's good thing I did this video. Anyway, let's get into the actual skill setup. Normally I have entropy here, of course. I mean, the layout doesn't matter. You can change your buttons to whatever suits you the best. But since I was in heavy and wasn't using rest hold anymore because I feel like it's a crutch and I want to improve as a player, I actually grinded out the Sigic skill line for that passive damage mitigation, just in the back bar. But then again, you could still run this build with a resto. It's just, if you're just using it for a resto, then I don't know, I just feel like it's a waste. But the Ellie Drain makes up for all the penetration that we lost from switching from light to heavy. I mean, the bar layout's almost identical, except for I'm not using wards anymore. Like I said, normally I have structured entropy here. And in the front bar, it's just burning embers. You know, the same setup as last time. You guys can speed it up or slow it down, whatever. Now, if you guys like using different skills like Cauterize or the damage version of it, or burning embers, I mean, you're more than welcome to, you know, switch skills and abilities around that suits you the best. I know they're changing passives next patch, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I think we are losing like like the distance from the whip and stuff. It's 8 meters now, but it's going to be 5, but they make up for it in the passive that they're adding, so it's still going to be like 7 meters, so you lose a meter, which, I mean, it sucks, but we'll just have to adapt. Now, as far as the CP is concerned, this is what I went with, and like I said, you guys can speed it up or slow it down if you need to. Now this, as soon as this patch actually launches, I'm actually going to be taking some points out of my, where's it at? Out of this tree, or some of these trees to make. Let's see, I think I only need like 14 more. I'll just take it out of like spell erosion, or maybe a few out of elemental expert because of diminishing returns, and actually put it into exploiter, because when you use talons or fossilize, every time you whip after that, they're off balance, and that 10% extra damage bonus is more than you could slap an extra 100 into mastered arms or elemental expert, and you'll never get an extra 10%. So I mean, that's going to make a big difference in damage too. I mean, I changed all these around because we're not using wards anymore, so I yanked them out of Bastion and just distributed them to other places like heavy armor focus and stuff. Now, as far as the buffed up stats, this is what it looks like. This is without continuous or the imp buff or whatever, but there's the stat sheet. Now, like I said, that magic recovery, it looks very abysmal, but Desert Rose is such, especially in outnumbered situations, like I never have any issues with sustain. No, like, you don't have any issues with stam, you don't have any issues with mag. Like it's perfect for me anyway. Anyway, here's the back bar stats and the front bar stats. I mean, that pretty much wraps up the builds, guys. I know obviously if you don't have Meteor, I mean, everybody hates that grind for Meteor, so you can just go like Dragon Leap or whatever you feel is best or better suits you. Now, like I said, this build, I'm sure somebody somewhere has made this build or used it, so I do not claim ownership of it. This is just what I've slapped together and used this entire patch of Somerset in preparation for Murkmire, the Murkmire patch. And like I said, it's phenomenal. I absolutely adore this build, and honestly, after running this build, I don't feel, after I've adapted to it, I don't feel like I'm going to go back to Light, especially with the ward changes. But anyway, back to what I was getting at. I really appreciate everybody, you know, for subbing and stopping by and saying hey, you know, and I'm glad you guys enjoy this content and everything else. And like I said, I just can't appreciate it enough. So I hope you guys enjoy the build, and I hope you guys give it a shot, because it's a phenomenal build. And I've tried I tried three or four different builds all like through Somerset, and this is the one that I feel like is the best overall. Like obviously there's gonna be a build that's better than for dueling or whatever, but I do everything with this build. I go into BGs and I don't have any issues. I go into open world and X and I don't have any issues. I duel and don't have any issues. I mean, I know next patch is going to be a Magicka Templar heavy patch, you know, but even with this build, I out-sustain a block tank Magplar, and there's no, like I said, I just don't have any issues with this build, and I just think it's perfect overall. And anyway, that'll cover it for the video, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy the video and give this build a shot, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.